Perfect.
Welcome to Sincerely Millennials. My name is Nia Janae, and I'm your host today. And thank you guys for tuning into the very first episode. We have a little bit of a round table here, so let's start with introductions, Instagram handle, your name. We'll start from my right.
I'm Farah, and you can reach me at @loveforfarah on Instagram.
There we go. Next.
Hi, everybody. I'm Greg. I don't have an Instagram.
Okay, yeah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ehab. I do have an Instagram, but I don't choose to share it.
See, I thought that's what was going to happen with Greg.
I do have one.
But yeah.
No, holla at me
going.
then. Holla at me, everybody.
And make sure you holla Farah. My name is Raphael. I do have an Instagram handle. However, I choose not to share it as well. But trust me, I'm saving you guys. You guys don't even want it. It's a bunch of bullshit. Are we allowed to curse on this?
Yeah, technically.
It's a bunch of bullshit. So like, don't even bother. But yeah, it's good. It's good to meet you guys.
Okay. Hi, my name is Brenda. Instagram is Top Secret. So I choose not to share as well.
Oh, shit.
Like at Top Secret.
Top secret.
Deadass. I didn't know my
I'm
Instagram
not
handle just
thirsty at
now.
all.
I
Was that,
really had to
no,
look it up.
wait. That's your like actual Instagram?
No,
Top secret?
No.
Okay, I was like, oh, damn. How'd you get that? How'd you get that one?
How did you get
That's a
that?
good one. Yeah.
We don't need people to know certain Instagrams because
Okay.
either they don't post or
Yeah, I don't
Like I
post.
said,
it's a business Instagram
Holla
for
at
a
me.
different business. Far as
looking for every
far as
follower.
looking for the followers, so you know,
Yeah.
follow, subscribe,
that, yeah,
like,
yeah.
share,
all of it, all of the above.
all of the
my
above.
girl.
My Instagram handle again, my name is Nia Janae, and it's actually nia.jenai. So feel free to follow me. I don't really post, but do you? Okay. Oh, and you can follow us on our actual Instagram for this podcast, which is Sincerely Millennial, all together. No worries. So we're going to get into our first topic today, which is going to be New Decade, Who This? I know the title's kind of misleading in a sense. It's a little confusing. So pretty much we're going to break it down to like 3 different topics, go one by one from that and see what you guys feel.
Right.
Okay.
So first question. What aren't you taking into this new decade? So it's 2020, new decade. When we started the last one, we were like hella young, so.
That's a deep question there. That is,
10 years ago.
it's...
Long time ago.
Okay.
Greg, I feel like you're gonna lead us off here.
What I'm not taking...
Well, you're
into-
not taking into it.
Wow. I know you sent me like all the points before, but like I literally never looked over them once.
Well, I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you know.
It doesn't
I just
benefit
wanted
us
to
right
wing it,
now,
right?
thought he was about to
but
say something
I
deep.
appreciate
What
it.
am I not
I really
taking?
thought I was about to,
Yeah.
I was waiting for Greg to
I was
preach.
waiting for
What am
two.
I not taking into the new decade? Well, I'm trying not to be negative,
That's a good
I'm trying
one.
to be optimistic. It's
a good one.
It's like we're surrounded by a lot of negativity, and I'm just trying to get rid of that shit, So, yeah, that's about it right now.
True.
That's all I
What about you
think
guys?
of.
Come on, Ref. I'm looking at you now.
Come on.
It's like when the teacher
Get it
starts
on,
looking at
thing.
you and you try to not make eye contact. And it's like, I see you.
You guys never heard of Best for Last? Okay, fine.
Wow.
I'm kidding. That's a backfire joke. What am I not taking into this new decade? I guess I'd have to piggyback off of what you said, Greg, because there's a lot of negativity that on the day to day we carry with ourselves. Sometimes we don't like let it out to other people. You know what I mean? And we walk around with that, and that we store that within ourselves, right? So, forgiving myself more, I think that would be a
That's
good
a good
thing
one.
to do.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think what I'm not taking into this new decade is, yes, the negativity stuff, but I kind of already started trying to do that in 2019. But I would say more so really learning to not have certain people in my life that are not necessarily friends. So you know how you always
agree
say,
with
like,
that.
I want to get rid of, like, certain, like, friends and, like, cut people off. I've learned throughout the process of 2019 that sometimes, for me specifically at least, that does require, like, family and really categorizing people. But that's something that, like, I'm not trying to take into the new decade, and also finances, just being more aware.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I agree with that. Like for myself, I was like always going out, hanging. I'd have my party friends. Okay, that's fun. Like that's fun for like a whole half an hour, and then after that,
Yeah.
it's just right. Like certain like individuals, I need to like surround myself with people who are on the same page, who want the best for me genuinely, right? Like everybody else, right? Like you know what? I get along with everybody, right?
Yeah.
You're like I don't know, like cool with me. I'm cool with you, but we don't vibe. So why do I spend all
Why
this
keep
time.
it going anymore?
Exactly.
It's like extra baggage, right?
Yeah.
100%. It's like you're keeping somebody around, and it's like you don't want to hurt someone's feelings by being like, okay, like
Yeah.
You know, I feel
you're
like,
great, but I don't want you anymore.
but I feel like I've like weaned off a lot of that like during the last couple of years. Like a lot of the negativity that I've had in my life. You know, honestly, I call it selective friends, where you're selecting and choosing your friends wisely, because all your friends that you have, you know, especially like right now I'm 27 years old, so like I've been through high school. It's been weaned out. Like I just have my really, really close group of friends. But like what I wanted to discuss is like what I'm taking in to 2020,
That's what I
the
was
next
about to
decade.
say,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like what I wanted to bring to 2020 is
Absolutely.
honestly, I want to be more mindful of like everybody. You know, like I want to be more mindful of like how, you know, like just one thing that you always have to remember is every single person that you meet or you have an altercation with or an incident with, or it could be a friendly, you know, hello or whatnot, they'll always remember how you made them feel. You know what I mean? So you gotta be really mindful of that. And I felt like, you know, in the last couple of years, I wasn't mindful of that. I was more of like all about me, you know. Now I gotta be more mindful about everybody else, right? And how people feel about you. So that's kind of what I feel like I'm bringing into 2020 and the new decade.
Right.
Yeah.
I do think that's a really good point, is to like the small
Well said,
little
well said.
transaction of doing something nice for someone can really carry it out through someone's day. Like I don't know if you guys have ever seen videos where someone just pays for the person's coffee or something behind them, and it really does does set the
Right,
tone for the day
right.
where it's like
It really
you feel
does.
just makes you
validated.
feel good.
There's actually people out there that like you know what I mean, pay for cuddling. You know what I mean? Like there's actually like professional cuddlers out there that literally.
Oh, wow.
it's
I
not
did not know that.
sexually related.
Wait, hold on.
Or in any
What?
way.
What?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yo, Matt,
Come
yo.
on here.
Absolutely.
No,
Just send me
it's
their number,
crazy.
bro, please, bro. I just need to be held.
No, but
Like, yo,
it's
like, can somebody help me?
scientifically proven that when you
but-
cuddle, it
Yeah.
just releases. It makes you feel good. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah, it makes you feel
releases
better.
like a
And you know what? There's actually
chemical.
people that are hired to
do
cuddle
that.
with you for an hour.
you
No
imagine
sexual
Bro,
anything.
bro.
What is it called? Like spoon for
it's
you?
literally just cuddling.
That's a good name.
Spoon for you.
I'm dead.
You're my best friend. Like, how come you have not shared this with me? Like, I would what? Like, bro, like you know me, bro.
I
just
didn't
need to be
know you
held,
like
bro.
to cuddle, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, people want that. People will always remember how, you know, you made them feel, and people
Right.
want to feel like that again, so they're willing to go pay someone just to come cuddle with them for an hour.
That's interesting.
So,
Yeah, that's
No,
very
you know?
interesting. I didn't even know about that, but I mean, I guess it does fall under that category of just like the thought of feeling good
Yeah,
and like
and
being
spreading
positive and
that love.
bringing that positivity to other people. It does develop, and it does unwind into other individuals. And I do feel like as a generation of millennials, that is something that we don't do, and we've kind of grown up not doing in a sense, because we've grown up completely different from our parents, where it's like we
Yeah.
have social media,
Right.
like
Text me.
texting, MSN at one point, like regular things
Yes.
like that, where it's like
Yeah.
we're so able to connect to other people so fast that sometimes it's so robotic and it's not very emotional, and you don't realize like actually having those emotional connections with people really does affect their life, and aside from their day-to-day, like the smallest thing can really help somebody.
That's true.
I agree with that, like 100%. It's like we are so like disconnected from human connection, like, or just like like when you're like around somebody and you feel their energy, right? We don't have that anymore. Everything is, oh my god, like look at your post on Instagram. Where are you? This is what you're doing. This is what
Yeah.
you're doing. It's great and all, but we don't actually have that like that connection, right? Like, and we can't say we know what it's like to be there or to feel that, right? And we're
Yeah.
looking at just like all these pictures, all these like images, and we're like making a very two-dimensional feeling of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, right? And so like I think that is like that is what I want to leave behind. I want to be more mindful, just like you have said, and try to you know,
So I think
of
one thing
others.
we can say is like just be more aware.
Little things that, you know, like just you see like a homeless man on the side, you give him $5, or so, little things that you could do to just better yourself and
Bro,
make,
right.
just feel a little better about
He's about
you
to
know
make a joke.
everything.
Yeah, right. To like $5, $10.
$10, you know, just like little
Remember that
things
guy,
like that.
bro?
Yeah.
I know that he's probably gonna take that $5, and I don't know what you're
He's
doing with
gonna
it,
do
but
something
I'm
questionable with
doing
it.
my,
But you're
I'm
right,
doing my
you're right.
bit.
No,
You
no,
know
no,
what I'm
like
saying?
That's what I always say to him. And I'm like, I know he's like, oh, he's gonna go do something else with it. But I'm like, listen,
Yeah.
it's your part. Like, it's
Yeah,
your
I know. I
part.
just want to give him
One
my
of Jordan fucked up, y'all.
Oh shit, you gonna call him out like that?
Yeah. So we was been talking, and you know, I just looked at the camera and I'm like, you know, that kind of looks like the lens is off. It was. So, you know,
So it's a technical error.
Hard
we
cut.
forgive
you know,
Hard
him.
cut.
you know why it
Pick it
doesn't
back up.
matter?
Pick it back
You know
up.
why it doesn't matter? Because Jordan has to edit this shit. So that's your issue.
Right.
You need to deal with this later on.
We forgive you. Anyways.
Right.
There we go.
There we go. And then I didn't forget about you. About I have my camera and been making us sit here eating crispers.
I'm not even gonna talk to Raph about it right now. Let's not even.
They were delicious. They were delicious. Okay, moving on though. So same thing, new decade. Who this? Next thing I'm gonna ask you guys is, what do you think millennials need to be focused on in this new decade? So we talked about what we're not bringing into it. You kind of touched on it a little bit, Ehab, where you said what your main focus is. What else, aside from what we've already talked about, do you think that as a population of millennials, we need to strictly be focused on going into this new decade, not just the new year? Again, think of the whole next 10 years.
Right. I don't know if anybody wants to start it
I
off.
want to talk about.
You have a nice radio voice.
Thank
You do.
Yeah.
It really does.
Thank
he
you.
does.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you need to make like a sex hotline or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
1-800 call Greg.
Like,
That's
1-800 call Greg.
That's not your
Sound
number.
like Snoop Dogg in the mic. That's all I'm
that's
saying.
not gonna be it.
Yeah, that's
That's not gonna be
Anyways,
it.
Yes,
I appreciate
anyways.
that, don't you? Thank you. Yeah. Hello. Yeah.
The way I'm looking at it. Thank you, Raph. If you will let me speak.
Okay.
I just think y'all guys need something.
The way I'm looking at it is that this year I turned 27. So what I wasn't taking into this new decade with me is excuses. I always have excuses for I have a million things I want to fucking do, like a million things. And I always have excuses for why I never get them done. And so this is my year to finally get everything that I want to do done. I can do it all. And that's how I'm looking at it. So before I touch 30, I want to accomplish everything that I wanted to do. So that by the time I finish,
Like,
by the
take
time
action.
I finish this
Okay.
exactly, by the time I
Take
finish this
action this year.
decade, I would have
Right.
done everything that
Right.
I want to do.
Right.
I think that's really good. I'm glad that you said that because I know me, Ehab, and Greg and Raph all wanted to drop kick you right now when you said
Okay,
that.
guys, we're not going to talk
Yeah.
about it. We're not gonna talk about
But I'm
it.
glad you did that.
I
I think
think
you're
yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
I think you're
glad
gonna move
somebody
forward.
said it.
Janae's just calling
I
everybody
had
out
it.
on here right now.
Yeah.
eh? You just
Listen,
Honestly,
I
though, I
promise
do
you
feel like
guys-
she's really good. Like when she has an idea of something to do, though, it's a really good idea.
yes.
I feel like if you did it though, you would literally take social media by storm.
Yeah.
For Canada. I don't know about the US. I'm sorry, you got some competition there, girl.
Like start
but,
ASMR channel.
but the US, but in Canada, you would be popping in
I-
Canada
yeah.
for sure. If you
No,
do everything that you
100%.
want, like she has great ideas. So
Yeah.
you guys definitely should
Right.
follow her when you get a chance to, because
Thank you.
I made it into a positive.
Yeah, thank you.
But-
Thank you very much.
That
But
is
yeah.
something to think about. I feel like what millennials need to be focused on going into this next decade is no shade, but elevating your life. Like you have to think about it, right? When the decade started the last time around, we were all going into high school pretty much.
Like,
Not even
What is that?
20
Like 10 years ago? Like what's
Not
my
even
math,
20.
guys? 17.
18.
We were
17,
finishing
18.
high
Just
school.
about to graduate.
Right.
We were just about to
we
graduate.
Were 16.
Right.
You guys are a year older.
So you have to
But,
think about that, right? Like we weren't really
yeah, we're
doing
about
anything
to-
at that time, but now we are older. This is that clinical point in your life where you need to start focusing on
Right.
buying a house or
Yeah.
children,
Yeah.
settling down. Like your
Yeah.
mindset, if it should shift now, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're trying to shift and we're like freaking 40. And it's like
That's true.
But you gotta understand, like baby boomers had, this mentality of 18, out of the house, college, you're starting off your job, right?
Yeah.
Now millennials are in their parents' homes until they're almost 30, right? So you gotta understand it's much
People are getting
harder.
married
It's
later.
much harder. And if you talk to, I'm assuming a baby boomer, they'll tell you the exact same thing, that it was just as hard in their time.
Yeah.
But I really think that millennials have a really hard time, especially for buying property, especially for
expensive.
just
Absolutely.
overall living.
Especially
It's really like
It
where you
definitely
live.
is.
Jobs,
It's
even
like-
the
It's
cost of
crazy.
living now is much more.
All right, let's pick it up
Okay.
with Raph with that topic.
Okay,
Still
Ehab's
have
taking
it?
over. So
If he
Ehab-
remembers what
you
he
heard what
was
Ehab
saying.
said.
I have it. So
Better be a
I was just gonna say that so we're all under 30 at this point, right? And 10 years ago we weren't even at 20.
Yeah.
And you're right about when we're going into our 20s. I have a sister that's 22 and she has no idea what she wants to do with her life, right?
That was me.
You
That
know?
was me too.
That's all of us, and that's all of us, right? Maybe
we don't
Ehab's
know
different, but we
some
don't
of
know.
us.
Yeah, no,
right?
Ehab's different.
No.
Still
That's
don't
not true.
know.
I listen.
we didn't.
My
We
career
didn't know.
path was not one I wanted.
Listen.
Yeah.
So
It was 23. It wasn't 22 for Ehab. It was a little different.
Listen, my position completely different. It just I went into a company and I just just started moving up. That's
Yeah.
what it was. And it wasn't that I wanted. Believe it or not, it's not that I wanted that job. It was just open to me at that time.
It was
You gotta
destiny. It
understand,
was supposed to happen.
We're a product of our environment, right? Like at the end of the day, you chill with friends, and you start to become similar to them because they're part of your environment. Like I can see you guys kind of reading each other's minds. Sometimes when you guys are on the phone with each other and whatnot, because again. It's there's a saying. It's like, tell me who you are. Tell me who your friends are. Right.
Yeah.
Your friends are a big,
Absolutely.
part of you. Right. So that's how I explained my situation. Is honestly, it was pure luck, and it was just, I just worked really hard. And that's what it was. Yeah.
But it is
And
an
I-
inspiration,
Greg as
I do
well.
feel like,
100%.
for when people that are in our age, and I want to go back to you on that too, because I feel like what he just said kind of really ties into what you're going to say, where it's just like, as much as you might not notice it, but it is an inspiration to people of the millennials because you have done something that we are still very much trying to do. So I do feel like at that sense, it's like, that is something where it's like, I think you actually taught me that where it's like, you should be around people that you want to be like.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So surround yourself with people that you want to be like, or people that are no shade on kind of your level. And I do feel like that works. And I feel like that's pretty much where you're going to go through. It's like, that is something that we should be focused on. Like,
Yeah, so
that level.
with that being said, right, you're at the point where, a lot of people our age, right, I don't know if you guys follow Gary Vee at all, right? But if
I love Gary Vee.
I love Gary Vee too. But there's a lot of
I have no
people.
idea, but okay.
There's
He's
a lot
an
of
amazing
people.
podcast. You guys should listen to it.
There's a lot of people that come up to him, and he does events all over the USA, and they come up to him. They're like, Gary, I started this company, and I'm still growing, but I'm not getting any customers. Or Gary, my parents want me to get married, but like I can't even get a date, right? And Gary Vee is simply like, you're young as fuck. That's what he says every
Absolutely.
single
For
time,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, right? I remember listening to, I don't remember where I heard this. Believe it or not, I think it was in a commercial. But it's basically in your 20s, you're trying to find yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
You're trying to find yourself. And in your 30s, right? That's when you kind of realize like, okay, I'm this person and this is what I got to do. Right? And I think we kind of just had a conversation where all of us, right? We've kind of gotten to the point now where we've noticed, like I can't remember exactly what you said, right? But you said something along the lines of, our minds are shifting now.
Yes.
Our mentality is shifting, right? And I'm pretty sure everyone on this table, their mentality has shifted at this point. Like I know mine has, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And like,
sure.
Absolutely.
In a year, I feel like
Yeah.
a year is so short, but so much can happen in a year, right? Like
Yeah.
a
month,
Stuff.
Yeah.
a month even, yeah.
In a
The
day,
month is
you're
almost
gonna
done.
change your
January's
life.
almost done.
Absolutely.
And the thing
Right.
about when you're and now going just, our mind has shifted. This whole, 30s where you find yourself, right? Obviously none of us are 30. We're not even close to 40 yet, right? So we don't know. But I think all of us, we truly believe that we're about to do something with, with
absolutely.
ourselves.
You know what? Like
Yeah.
like you said, like 20s for me was like learning, a lot of things I didn't even know about myself, like
Right.
things that's
Right.
like
Yeah.
I felt like after 25, like my body started to change. I was no longer that guy that can like eat whatever the hell
I
I
feel
want,
you
have a
on
six
that.
pack.
Yo,
And
you
you
know
get
when
your
you eat
belly
that
and shit.
pizza
My
and
mind
it
is
don't
changing.
go right?
Hey man,
mind
don't
is
look at my
changing.
belly, bro.
Metabolism.
Not-
Don't look at my
Can't
belly.
relate.
No,
Look at my
yeah,
cap.
but if your body's changing, your mind is changing,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So you gotta understand,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
for me, my 20s was okay. How am I gonna learn
Yeah.
as much as I can
Yeah.
and
Right.
pack it in these 10
Right.
years?
Right.
Because for me, I said this before. Like 20s is for learning, and then 30s is for earning.
Mm-hmm.
So like
It's the
I'm
same
trying to
we live
learn
by.
as much
It
as I
really
can
is.
in my 20s.
Yeah.
Take some risks.
Right.
If I make mistakes,
I have a
it's
question for
fine.
you.
The 30s, yeah.
I have a question. When did you realize that you needed to start learning? Did you learn it before you were 20? Did you learn it early in your 20s?
No,
Because I'll just say
he's
quickly.
an old soul. He's
I'll-
an old soul.
I'll just say quickly
He's
for
always
me.
known that.
At 25, I realized, oh shit, I gotta do everything myself. Like
That was me.
That was me. At
And that's a
25.
lot of
25
people.
is the age. I don't know.
25
I
is the
think
age.
I can't say
But-
25 is the age where I thought that, but I
Right.
can say that I realized, like, I've always been a person that I kind of had to raise myself in a sense because I had a teenage mom. So I've always kind of grown up on my own. I've worked since I was 14, worked numerous jobs since 14 as well, like paid my own phone bill, like transportation, everything from 14. So it's not that I haven't grown in the sense where it's like I've had to take care of myself, but I've had to grow mentally in the sense where it's like there's just certain things that she's not going to be able to do for me.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? And like,
Right.
as everyone obviously here knows already, hence why I'm starting this podcast, like I had that lesson 10 times harder throughout 2019 when my mother passed away. So it's like now it kind of jumpstarts something in my head in 2019 where I'm like, granted, yes, I'm in a situation where I physically don't have my parent, but people do need to get to a point, and like I would have had to do it anyways, where I had to get to the mentality where I'm like, I really need to like focus on like, how am I ever gonna buy a house? Like I haven't even thought about how I'm about to buy a house because it's such a far-fetched reality to me. Because like you said, Ehab, it's so difficult right now for people our age to buy houses and stuff, and it's like I really had to start thinking like, I'm kind of lucky, but I'm kind of not. But it's like, how do you do that? Like, how do you buy a house? How do you think of investments? What investment should I be in? Like,
but
you don't know nothing.
You got to think about it this way. Nothing that's worth having is easy to get.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
So, like the great, Steve Kerr. I'm not trying to quote basketball, but, in the playoffs,
You're
Game 7.
exactly quoting basketball right now.
Playoffs, Game 7.
not trying to go
I
there.
know, but it's
Everybody's
fair.
coming to
You're
the
right.
bench and everybody's breathing really hard and
Right.
they're battling, they're competing, right?
Right.
And he sits his guys down and he says, guys, it's supposed to be hard.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be hard.
Yeah.
And Farah was saying like she doesn't want to make excuses going into the new decade. And I find that, the truth is that a lot of millennials are making excuses.
See,
100%.
see,
And,
right.
We
and
are.
you know what?
Yeah, right. Like I just want to like touch on just one thing that like growing up, I was taught work hard, and
too.
and like make money, buy things, and like be successful. Okay, so that word success right there. Most of us, we think about it. You have a nice house, you have a nice car, you have money, you can just like buy what you want. You're a successful person. Now, there's a lot behind that
Yeah.
I have had to come to realization that really like money doesn't buy happiness, right?
Oh, absolutely, it doesn't.
And so I believe that like for the millennials, we need to think about, okay, what makes me happy, right? I found a job that I didn't like. Well, I kind of liked it. I was just going after the money, right? And that's how like I've lived my life, and I've had the realization that, right, okay, like my first car, I'm gonna be happy. And I was happy for a whole of like 3 weeks.
And
then after that,
your appetite
right?
changes, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
your appetite
right.
changes.
Right.
It's a smaller car. I'm gonna get a bigger car.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a like a condo. I'm gonna get a bigger house.
Yeah.
There is no fulfillment in that. It's all temporary. So I think for the like millennials, they need to think about what is really like
Important.
that, and also fulfilling.
Yeah.
Right. You have
wanna be happy.
Yeah. Right.
Genuinely.
Happiness comes from inside of you
Yeah.
and doing something you genuinely enjoy.
That
doing.
brings you joy.
And that
you want to
kinda-
strip it
it's
all
really
away.
not about the money.
You want to
It's-
strip it all away, and you're like, I'm content with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good point because it kind of piggybacks off of what I said, where it kind of actually, I will say, kind of changes the way I'm thinking for that same question, where it's like, my focus, or I said, is I think millennials should be focused on, like kids, families, and house. I should have said happiness. Because that's pretty much
And
what that
self-love.
derives from.
Self-love,
You know what I mean?
right?
Like
Correct.
having a house
Right.
of your own would make you happy.
Happy.
For the most people. Maybe not.
You know what?
But,
A lot of
having a
people have those
family.
things and are still not happy.
Exactly.
So that's what I think Greg was getting.
Yeah.
to.
That's
It's
what I'm
like-
getting into.
It
Like,
has
also
to
have
make me
those
change
things.
my
It's really
mind a little
not
bit
about-
about what I was thinking is
Right.
what I would want, because it's not necessarily that.
Right.
Those are things that would make me happy.
Yes,
but I
right.
can't
And for me,
necessarily
like
say
what
it
I've
would make-
realized is that I have, right, like most people, we from a young age we go to school. Why? We want to get a good education and then get a good job, make good money, and get a house. Now, I was following that and I was happy. It's because I was getting good grades, making good money, buying things, and then eventually my condo, and then now a house. And what do you do when you reach there and then you realize, okay,
Something's missing.
and then what? Something's missing.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely happy with this, and I thought I'd be. And so like most people go through their whole lives just going from one goal to one goal to one goal to one goal, chasing this never-ending
What they think would make them happy.
yeah, and it's empty. My whole thing is that like I just want people to genuinely think about
Yeah.
what makes them happy. It's not about money or like possessions, anything. It's
Yeah.
just think
Because that's all
about
material at the end of the day, right?
it's
Yeah.
nothing, right? Problem is, we are all surrounded by all these ads, music videos. Everything's
Yeah.
about having a nice car, having a nice house.
And everyone shows that on
Yeah.
social media too,
Yeah.
right?
It's what
Right.
society
I just bought
portrays
this, I
to
just
us
bought
all.
that.
So when society
Listen.
portrays an image to you
Right.
of
Yeah.
what you feel
Yes.
like you're supposed to
be
want,
doing.
you start following other people, thinking like, yeah, this is what I want, this
100%.
is what I need,
Right.
and it's not necessarily true. So again, like just because that's something that I would want, like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard the song, probably not, but there is a song by, I think it's Luther Vandross, and it's called "A House Is Not a Home."
Right.
And in this song, he said, like, a house is not a home when there's no one there
Right.
when I climb the stairs. You know what I mean? Like, there's no family there, so it's like you have this house, but it's like you're empty, and it's so it's like you have to look at your life that sense too. It's like you could be chasing this image and like you have it, and then you're like, there's still something missing, and I feel like that kind of goes into a little bit of kind of what you were saying, where you're like, we make excuses. We make excuses for why we're chasing certain things. Like, we make an excuse for why we're going to buy a house and why we're going to school for this specific subject and stuff. And that actually gets to our third point for this topic, which is what lesson do you feel like millennials need to have learned in past decades that we need to not bring into the next decade? And I feel like that is a big one that I would want to say, which is making excuses. We have made it such a thing as millennials that excuses are like, no, it's not an excuse, I'm just explaining. And it's like, no, you're making an excuse.
Right.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
No, I know that like firsthand, and it's like that's why like we've had conversations. We've had conversations like it's about time. Like just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like you can do it. I absolutely have what it takes to get it done. I know I can fuck it up. What's holding me back? It's nobody but my damn self.
It's true.
Yeah. So it's like 100%. No more excuses. You're just going to get it done. It's on the list of things to do. So, like, are we going to cross it off or not?
Yeah.
Is being hungry.
That's it.
Going into the new
Hungry
decade. Like,
enough.
What
me to be
millennials,
hungry.
honestly, I think, like, I don't know, this was the thought for me was, I think the epidemic for millennials and what's holding them back a lot is FOMO. The fear of missing out. You know, you see everything on there and like, oh, I just finished school. You know, I have like $30,000 worth of debt, and my friends are all going to Thailand, so I'm just gonna go drop 10 grand here and get more.
Sorry
debt.
about that, guys.
And-
If you're watching me on
and-
Instagram, don't follow me
That is
with a 30.
We're just
That is
talking.
definitely not.
We're just throwing shade right now.
Definitely,
We're just
that
throwing
is
shade.
definitely not against you.
Subliminals.
No.
Because you didn't just go
You know
to
what?
school.
Though?
and you
Everyone
didn't
went to
just have-
Thailand. Everybody was going to Thailand. Straight up.
No, but I'm
It wasn't
just saying it's the fear of missing out. I think that's what's kind of killing all the millennials. It's killing drive. It's like, hey, you know what? Well, instead of saving money where I can save some money and you know maybe invest or do certain things.
Better myself.
I'm deciding to go out and pop bottles with my friends because that's what everyone's doing. So I have to be a part
Can
of
I
it.
You know
ask
what
you-
West Indian people call it? They call it being
rap.
follow fashion.
Right.
Can I ask you all a question real
Yes.
quickly? Because I thought about this on our last topic, but you know, because we're all approaching 3-0, right?
Yep.
I'm excited, actually. But
It's
yeah.
about to be
Not
on the
at all.
camera.
What
right?
I
If
want-
something changes about like your
What-
sex life,
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking for.
I think it's a woman thing to be excited about 30, but anyways, yeah.
What I was gonna ask you guys is, I once heard.
Okay, Daddy.
Yeah.
Can we just have Zara finish his question?
Sorry, Rap.
I thought you have space that I just died for a second.
That's
We
what
made
I'm
eye
excited about.
contact and he was like, did this chick really just
Just make it public. Oh, what I was gonna ask all of you guys actually is, I remember seeing something where it's when you turn 30, and I'm starting to get this now as well.
The Friends episode when they all turn 30.
I'm dead.
Oh my God, yes! Oh my
I
God!
can't
For
stand
some
you
reason,
friends.
as a
Why?
millennial,
Yo,
I
Leah's
watched
favorite
that
show is
episode,
Friends, guys, by
and
the
you
way.
know what?
I
They
love it.
all
Let's
they
let
all
Rob
sat around a
finish.
table like this and cried when they turned 30. Like,
wow.
is that like?
I'm gonna get crucified for what I'm about to say, but I don't watch
Just
Friends.
say, I don't either. So
I never watched an episode of Friends. I've seen
like it.
clips
Jordan
and
said he
bits of
doesn't
it,
either for the people that
You
are
guys,
listening and
but
watching.
What the fuck?
I just couldn't get into it. I'm sorry.
You're the
Go
you're the
I
Go
am
ahead,
with you.
yeah.
I'm with you on that.
When
Let's move forward.
as you guys approach 30, right, and it's happening to me already, how much do you guys really care anymore
About what?
about social media and what other people have?
I've never really cared about
I've
social
never
media,
cared
so-
I've never cared personally. Like I don't post anything. If you've ever been on my social media, I don't post anything. I
He
literally
hasn't
might
posted
story.
something since I've
I
won
might
the
post a story
pageant.
every now and then, but I don't like. I really don't care. To be honest with you, I use like Instagram or whatever to like connect with my friends. Like my boys have group
Yeah.
chats on
Yeah.
there. We joke
Yeah.
around, like funny stuff, and like that's what I use social media for.
Because the
I
beauty,
thirst trap on social media. I'm not even gonna try to cap and lie here right now. I thirst trap. I do it heavily, and I'm good at it.
Everybody
I mean, I don't want to say I'm a thirst trap, but I'm definitely
better not say
riding the
you're
line.
Yo,
Right?
It's
I'm
over.
definitely riding the line.
Borderline.
Social media for me is like, I love being in front of the camera. I love modeling. I love taking photos. Like, those are all things that I enjoy.
That's
I
where you
consider
feel
them
alive.
my quote unquote hobby.
Right.
And that's what social media gives me. It allows me to post pictures. That's why I don't fuck with Facebook or Twitter because I want to be able to post a photo. I like that. I like vlogging. I like, you know what I mean? Those are the things that brings me joy.
Right? Yeah.
And so that's what social media is for me. But like, do I give a fuck like what people think? Like, no, I'm gonna post what the fuck I want to post.
That's what I should say. Like, I like posting.
I'm that
like,
bitch in real life.
photos,
Like,
but
I don't
really
need a
care.
comment.
Let
I don't
them
need a
know.
like.
Honestly,
You know,
But most of my
I
posts are
feel like-
travel photos too. So
Yeah.
it's like I like
Yeah.
the, like I can only be in a bikini, so it's a thirst trap.
So what I want to know,
Oh, we didn't let him get to
what I
his
want to
point.
know is,
Sorry, you know,
yeah.
we keep
Sorry, Max. Sorry.
Yeah, do you when you see other
Aggressive.
people, right? Because I'll tell you honestly, right? Like when I don't know if I really cared, but I'm gonna say that I did a little bit because when Instagram first came out and you see these people doing these things,
when you start, you care.
it's like, man, like how you do that, bro? Like,
How are you traveling?
No.
But
I do have to
now-
say though, like coming from a third world country, like I'm happy to have exactly what the fuck I'm content with what I have. Like I don't get that feeling.
Okay.
Because I live
Yeah,
by
yeah,
like
yeah.
what's for me is for me.
Yeah.
If God has it written in the stars for Farah, I will get it. Like I don't give a fuck what everybody else is doing. And that's how I live my life. So I never have that.
What about
I
you?
never have
What about
that.
you, Rick?
I'm
like,
very content with my life. I'm happy to fucking even be in Canada.
This is exactly
That's a
Shout out Guyana, yo!
This is exactly why we turned down her damn.
Guys, this is my
mic.
regular voice. This is
'Cause
my
you
regular
guys
tone.
don't
I'm not
understand
yelling. This is my
how
regular
loud
tone.
My mom's like, why is she yelling at you?
is.
Always. My mother-in-law
like,
always
we're
thinks I'm
still
yelling at
yelling.
you.
She's
Screaming.
literally talking
I'm
to
like,
me.
You're-
this is my regular tone. Like,
But
we
but
are
your
having
regular
a discussion.
tone
It's
is
really
like
loud. It's
it's
just
like
really loud.
Leo
We love you though,
and a
Farah.
mixture of
you
both.
cannot
Yeah.
even say it's a Leo
Yeah.
thing. We have more than one Leo in the room. You're the only loud person. I've got to look into the camera for this. I'm like,
But I'm the
you
only
don't get it.
Caribbean Leo. That's why. It's the mixture
She's
of
like-
both.
Caribbean.
My
Greg is not
boyfriend's Caribbean,
Caribbean.
and
yo,
he's
man.
Why are you
What everybody
Canadian?
says.
Honestly,
Greg is
Grenada.
Canadian.
I'm a white guy,
Greg,
man.
thank
Yo,
you.
I'm a
Wow.
white guy. I just got some mulatto skin. You know what I'm saying?
Bart,
So-
isn't your parents from
I'm
Grenada?
so mad you said mulatto, and I
They're
know
from
you meant to
Grenada,
say
yeah, like both of
melanin.
Okay, so you
Oh,
are.
mulatto.
Oh, you meant to say mulatto.
He meant to say mulatto.
Oh,
girl.
okay.
Oh, mulatto.
I'm mulatto.
No, I don't.
It's a color.
It's a color.
Is it really?
Well, it's like a what is it?
Isn't it
It's
chocolate?
It's that color, that one. Right
Okay,
there.
you're not the color of coffee, so
like
that,
like a
Like it's a
yeah,
hint
but
of
with
a tan,
cream.
like a little bit of
Cream in it.
Okay,
You gotta put that 35%.
Fakes and bakes. I'm calling it out
Yo.
right now.
Yo.
Fakes and bakes.
Listen, guys.
So you
Listen.
can, you
exclusive,
Listen,
exclusive.
guys. Yeah.
Okay.
And he
Listen.
floats.
Greg, face.
I'm okay. I'm okay with it.
And he done laundry. Gym tan laundry. All right.
Listen to me.
Exposing the guy.
I'm not embarrassed at all. I'm actually proud that,
I need a tan.
You need a tan.
bro, like,
You better
bro,
GTL,
like, I
Greg.
take
You
care
better
of myself.
GTL.
I take
That's
care of
right.
myself
You let-
very well.
Cheers
I'm
to
a very
that.
clean man.
Cheers to that, man.
And
That's good, and that's
I
important.
take
Cheers to that.
I take pride in that, right?
I would
And-
cheers you, but I have nothing left.
Bro, man,
Yeah,
and
me
when I
neither.
take off my shirt, I don't look like a ghost. So
There we
you know,
go.
cheers.
That's me.
And
Okay, first
you
of
know,
all, honey, you do not
We're
look
getting
like a
so
ghost.
off
So anyways,
topic. So
Yeah.
off topic.
what was your question?
I was just gonna. Well, Farah explained that she's from, and I hear that from other people who are not from, like, who immigrated here, that they are very happy with, they're content with. It's like, yo, I'm just happy to be here. But I was gonna ask you, like, what
Yeah.
were you ever affected by
Social
social
media?
media?
100%.
Right.
I'm gonna be-
And what
yeah.
about now? So like, just compare.
Right. And so, like, recently, I've decided to stay away from it. I'm not on it. I only use it for really like messages, right? Like DMs. Like people would send me something like Ehab here's sending me like videos all day. I'll open them or whatever, or just like whatever,
Memes?
like cars.
Just funny shit.
Yeah,
Just
right. Like
funny
funny
shit.
shit. That's I'll open it. But like in terms of like going through the day and like I don't have a lot of downtime, but like I do have some time. And what do you do on your downtime? Go through Instagram.
Yeah, it's
Fill
it's
your
normal.
mind
Yeah.
with what everybody else is doing. And eventually, over time, whether you know it or not, I believe subconsciously that affects you and your view on yourself and what are you doing.
It consumes you a little bit.
Right? It's because what
It
happens,
can.
right?
If you let it, it
right.
can.
I mean, like you see like somebody and they're on vacation or they have that car, they have this car. And yes, right, it will also depend on the person. But for me, I was becoming like, oh yeah, why am I at work right now? Why am I not doing this? Why like I wasn't feeling good enough. And I'll be honest about that, right? And so that's why I've decided as of 2020, I'm taking into the I don't know, like new decade, no negative feelings, more I'm gonna focus on myself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be tunnel vision in that sense. Is because really, I feel like I've been not, and I've been more just it's just focused on what's
It's like the outside world,
right? Like
Yeah.
what's going on around me.
Yeah.
And so anyways, and so that's my thing. I was affected by it, and
Well, let me be the first to say that you're awesome.
thank you.
Yeah, you need
Thank
to worry
you.
about that. You're
Right?
that in real life.
I know I'm
Like,
awesome.
yeah, the fuck.
But-
You can't say
Fuck
that word
everybody.
online.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You're
This is
that
a clean
guy
podcast,
in real
guys.
life.
Right?
Beep that out. Beep that out. I'm sorry.
And so anyways, right?
You're gonna get me demonetized. They're gonna be like, "Who is that brown chick?" I'm like, "She's West Indian, I swear."
I'm 9% black, Joe. Let everyone know.
Guyanese.
I'm 9% black. I can say
Nine.
the N-word.
What are you?
No, you can't.
No, in my mind, I did
Yeah, here we go.
23andMe, and I feel like
Oh,
I'm.
shit.
Did you actually do that?
No, I said in my mind, people.
Okay.
I'm scared of needles.
This is
I
her own
haven't
reality.
fully
This is her own
deci- I
reality
haven't
right now.
fully done it yet.
Oh, I thought you
Please
actually
Please do
did it.
not
I'm like,
drag
oh.
us
No,
in
you
the
have to do blood. You
comments
have to do blood
below. She means well, she does.
Yeah.
Just let her.
So like, and
just
I
let her
feel
be.
like I have. You know what? Let's not talk about it. We'll talk about it
Yeah.
later.
Right.
What about you?
Yeah, right. I haven't heard from Brennan
what
too
is the
much
question?
tonight.
So he was saying like, do you feel like social media has ever consumed you, and do you think it still consumes you?
Or
Me
affected you.
Or affected me? No.
Or yeah,
'cause-
affected is a better
No,
word.
I don't think so because I'm naturally a private person.
Okay.
So I
I was
haven't
gonna
really
say that.
cared about social media. I'm not consumed in that, and I feel like if I was to post and stuff, yes, I would. But I just stay away from because I know myself. Like I'm very easy to soak in energy and like seeing things.
Right.
So I purposely stay away from that just because I know how it can affect me.
That's
so.
good that you're like I don't know, like actually like
That you trained
I'm
yourself
very
to be like.
aware
that.
of
Like
So
that,
you
like,
see
Yeah.
I think I've
That's-
I've known you since what 19 years old now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've known Brenna since I was like 19, and she's always kind of been that person where it's like
Yeah.
if you have a friend that's kind of more like, why do you care? Like it's not that
Yeah.
deep. Like it's cool. She's always kind of been that person, which is why I felt like she was good for something like this too, because
Yeah.
it's like.
it's really about a balance,
It's,
I
it's,
think.
it's
Yeah.
definitely
You
a
do.
balance
You
of
do
what's
have to have
happening, but
balance.
she's always been that person that doesn't
It's
really
so
care as
funny.
much. But I can't
It's
can't
so-
lie. Like you said, like it has been a thing where it's like
Yeah.
you see someone and they're like they're in Thailand, and then you're like, I want to go.
But
And
that's
it's like
like
you
control
didn't
yourself.
necessarily
Yeah.
want to, but now
See,
you consume
yeah.
where it's like that's
Right.
all you think about it, all you
Right.
want to do because you see everybody else
Yeah.
doing something.
Yeah.
You inspired me to go to Thailand. Let me just say that.
See,
You
like,
didn't.
there you go. Fear of missing
There
out.
we
go.
Yeah,
See?
it affected you.
No, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. It's not a fear of. I don't think it's a fear of missing out. It's like, you know what? That looks dope. I want to go there.
Yeah.
But it's not like.
But
It's not.
you have to go there now.
No. I'm not
That's the
looking at
question.
it. I'm not
Yeah.
looking at it
Yeah.
like, man,
Yeah,
that looks
you have
dope.
to-
Like, man, I
That's
wish I
that
could go.
age
Right,
transition
right,
that I'm
right.
talking
That-
about with
but that's
going
the
into
balance.
that new
Yeah.
decade, knowing that,
Right.
you know what, like you said, we're
Yeah.
going into our 30s.
Yeah.
It's good to see something and make it inspire you.
Yeah.
But know the difference between inspiring and clout. Like you're like know the difference between being like, I want to do this because it inspires me to be like, yeah, that looks magical and I would love to experience that. And then there's a difference between being like, I want to take a photo there too. Like that's clout.
Different, yeah.
You need to understand the difference moving forward, and the reality of it is like they're
And the reality is,
Your
I
people
think
are
it's
chasing
hard.
cloud, they're
I think it's
chasing
hard
fame.
to know that difference, right?
It is. It's
right?
not easy. It's not an
No,
easy
It's
thing to
it's
do.
so funny how social media affects women's way differently. Like the guys' answers were completely different than the women's. answers.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
And you know what?
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. Like for women, honestly, social media is definitely not easy. Like I can honestly say that there's
It's a bunch of
ton
dick pics. Everybody's
Oh, not
sending
even
dick
in that
pics,
sense.
yeah,
No,
shit
not
like
even like
that.
It's like
Yeah.
everyone has to show their ass. Like if
Can
you
I say
wanna-
that on
if
YouTube?
you want to be poppin',
You can say anything.
like
you
you
want.
have to show your ass. Like,
No,
you know what
I
mean?
just feel like for a woman, like it's a lot.
It's a
right?
different
it's a
type of
lot.
pressure.
Yeah, well, yeah, like look at their like
sexualized.
inboxes,
It's very
bro. Like,
sexualized.
like
It's a lot. It's a lot. Like Raph just was basically saying he doesn't really care anymore about Instagram, about social media, and you're basically saying like, oh, I've taken a step away, and I say I'm not really into social media,
Yeah.
and then a lot of the women feel completely different on social media, where they feel like they can completely express
and we
themselves.
all do so many things so different on social media. Like you don't really use it. You honestly don't post. I completely
don't-
forget that you
I'm
I don't
on
care
and I'm
to.
off.
I-
I know I
I
said I don't
but like
have
you
one,
same
but
thing.
I
Like
do.
you don't really post, but I can message you there. I can message you.
I
Typically,
just
if it's
feel
about
like
far.
anything that I'm doing on there, I'm taking away from time where I could be
doing
doing
something
something
more
else
present.
and making more money and or planning something different. Not to say I'm not on it, but I just
Yeah.
feel like I
Listen.
don't need to be creating
Listen.
content for myself.
And then
I
like
feel.
for you
Bro.
use it for modeling a lot of the time. For
But
me,
that's
I
where
use it
he
for
balances
traveling.
me. that's where he balances me because I can get consumed by it where I feel like I always have to be posting and I always have to be doing stuff because I need to, continue my presence.
Right.
And
You
then
have
he's
to let
like,
people miss you.
That's a very important.
That's a really good
If you
thing.
get too much of you, honestly, it's very easy to get tired.
We
Especially
gonna have that
millennials. We're all about
conversation in
the
our
experience.
next topic though, because I feel like if you can remember it, I feel like that's something really good
That's
to
a
add to
big
like our
point.
next.
Yeah.
Get people
like
to
a
miss
next
you.
one.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like when you saturate the market, like listen, I understand there's tons of influencers.
I'm dead that you have said saturate the market first and foremost.
this
let's
is
be
what
real.
he
Let's be
is
real. The
literally
market
my
is saturated.
consultant. Like this is what I deal with on a
market is
daily
literally
basis.
saturated.
No, it was a good word. I'm flourished that you even thought to say like saturate the market.
it's
Like that's the
true.
perfect
That's a
word
thing.
for
But
it.
that's,
That's
what
a
you're doing.
thing.
But that's
Yeah.
what you're doing, right? And listen, you have a following. People love you, and they want to listen to every word that you say. But when you take a step back and hey, man, like I haven't seen that person post in a while. Like, you know what I mean? Like little things like that, so that when you do post,
you do post, it's like,
they're
oh,
like
shit.
all over
Yeah,
it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
there is such a thing as too much. Okay, in everything in life, too much alcohol, too much
Cigarettes.
too much. Too much
I need a cigarette,
Too
guys.
much of anything is bad for you, and the same goes for social media. Too much of it is really bad for you. And
Listen,
I think it's very
everything
toxic.
is good for you in moderation.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
No. Right.
And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Like I said, I can get overwhelmed with it where it's like I always have to feel like he hates the word content. I always feel like I have to have content. If I don't have content, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Like I'm anxiety on 10.
Raph,
And
what are you
he's
doing
like,
on
it's
Saturday?
Not that serious. Yeah.
Content, yeah. She wants
That's
content.
right. I need rap for my content. Yes.
Okay, so
Right.
we like I do get what you're kind of saying because I know you're like a content person. You always want to do photo shoots. Like we just got Ivy Park. She's already messaging me like we need to figure out our Ivy Park outfits. I'm like it's winter. We don't need to do that right now. But
No, but
The reality of it
but
is,
this
like-
is another perfect example of like it's a trend though. It's what's trending right now. So that's why I'm like, okay, I need a photo with you. Like she lives an hour away from
But
me.
you should start your own
We-
trends. That's
we
how
need
you
to-
break
Yeah.
the internet.
No, and you're
It's starting
absolutely
your
correct.
own thing.
You're absolutely
And
correct.
I find that if you spent less time trying to come up with like just content as opposed to the right content is a big difference in my opinion.
Well, I feel like we
the right
definitely
content is so important. Anybody can, like TikTok is popping off right now, and everyone's just like, what
We
are
have
you
a
doing really
TikTok,
on
by the
TikTok?
way.
Like,
We'll link
I'll
it below.
record me drinking this wine here.
Absolutely
That's
nothing.
TikTok.
Absolutely
Or-
nothing.
Nothing.
We're not
Absolutely
doing
nothing,
anything
right?
on TikTok. There's literally no quality
but
substance.
it is the
on
number
TikTok.
one app right now.
And no,
on
wait,
the App
wait,
Store.
wait,
It is
wait.
the number
It's
one
number
app.
one
No,
app,
no.
but for how long?
Wait. No.
Listen, it's
Listen,
all
it
about dollars
replaced
and cents.
Instagram. That
Wait.
says something.
Look,
But it's all about
I'm just
dollars and
saying.
cents. You can't sell on TikTok. At the end of the day, businesses
Yet.
will not.
Listen
Yet.
to me.
Eventually, though, eventually,
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you.
Who? Honestly, I feel like TikTok is buying.
100%. But they think TikTok.
Vine had its
it's
time.
easier to blow up on TikTok than it is on Instagram
because it's so
because it's
small now.
saturated.
Can I just, like, bring it back for
Exactly.
1 sec?
Yes,
Right,
let's
right.
Let's come back. I'm sorry.
TikTok. What is that? That is literally a waste. Like.
we
it
gonna
is
talk
the-
about TikTok in our society views and our social media podcast because we running late.
Are we good?
I
think
got.
we're good.
I gotta
Okay.
cut y'all off. We
You already
we
know
talking
how
too
I'm
much.
talking about that.
Next
Listen,
topic.
Right.
But
Yes.
we will
It's-
bring that
it's
up.
shit.
I do
Catch us in
feel
the
like
next
those are good
video.
points.
Catch us in the next video.
But I
Okay.
do feel like we've discussed a lot of valid points. Like we kind
Absolutely.
of all have the same mindset. We kind of view things a little differently when it comes to what
Yes.
we're personally focused on.
Yes.
But the way that we feel like millennials should be focused on things, I do feel like is pretty much kind of similar. Like
Right.
we do
We
need to be
definitely-
focused on chasing that happiness, chasing those goals, and
Absolutely.
really shifting your mindset because right now millennials, for anyone that's watching this that probably has no idea if you are a millennial or not, that's anyone between the ages of 23 to 38. So if you're in that realm, you do need to be doing that shift. Maybe you're in your 30s and you need to be shifting into that 40s mindset. Like
Yeah.
figure out what that shift is and start focusing on it.
Yeah.
And just look to be positive. Don't look to follow someone else because at the end of the day, you're your own individual, and what you have going on and what someone else has going on is completely different. And realistically speaking, like when it comes to social media and even talking to people, aside from social media, you could just be having a conversation with people. People like to sugarcoat their situations a lot, so don't take it at face value necessarily.
100%.
But you
Especially
should
on social
definitely
media,
be around like-minded individuals that have goals that are in the position that you'd want to be in, or working towards that same goal with you.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what we should really be focused on for this decade. So I think to close this off, I think we should just go around the table, just say one thing that
Yeah.
we think is advice that we would personally give to millennials. So just a quick sentence off. We'll start with Brenda.
Okay. So for me, it would be self-love. Love yourself. Don't focus on what other people are doing because everybody goes through things at different rates. Don't compare yourself. Just focus on yourself. Things will happen at the right time.
Well said.
I would say surround yourself with people like, look at what you want to do in your life. And, if these people are not, on the same level, I shouldn't say the same level, but on the same page.
It is what it is,
right?
yeah.
There's no
You're on a
purpose for
different
them,
level.
if I'm being honest. So, mind your surroundings. Know yourself.
Know yourself, Drake.
Right.
Hashtag it.
For me, honestly, it's learn as much as you can. Because at the end of the day, like, we're only here for a certain amount of time. Learn as much as you can. Take advice. Sit down with like your grandfather or like your uncle and pick his brain and learn of what their challenges were. Because I did that the other day, and honestly, that was so refreshing to hear of my good friend's father that grew up here and went through his teenage years here in the 80s, and it was just so like it made me feel that I'm not alone, and just try to learn as much as possible because knowledge is power.
Okay.
So my thing, right. I agree with Brenda Raff, and you have beautiful advice. But I feel like before you can even do that, you need to have the right mindset. And when it comes down to that, is being mindful of yourself and what are you good at? What do you like? What is bringing you pleasure? What is making you happy? It's because too many of us, myself included, have fallen for the let's just go to school, get a good job, and we're gonna make money and we're gonna be happy. We're like it's a false promise, and that's all I want to say. And what I'm going through right now at 27, it's almost like a midlife crisis in a sense, where like I'm still figuring it out. I'm still trying to find myself, and so I don't want people who are younger than us or in high school even right now hearing this to think that it's all about making money and like making moves.
Right.
Because without knowing where you're going or having a purpose, you will be empty and it will be meaningless. And then you will have a point where you reach and you're like, why am I doing all this for?
Right.
Yeah.
What is the purpose? I'm not happy. I'm just programmed to go a certain way, to make money, to like buy things and then what, right? And so anyways, right, just think about what makes you happy and what you like doing, and then everything else will fall into place.
Okay. Farah?
I would say protect your energy. That's definitely what I'm focused on going into like the new decade. My advice to everyone: spend your time with people that you can be yourself around. If I can't be myself around you and talk all this out of my mouth and not have to think about what I'm saying, then I don't want to be around you. So spend your time. Spend your time with people who you truly care about, who you love. Protect your energy, self-love. Focus on yourself. Like Greg says, what truly makes you happy
absolutely.
is what you should be doing. Obviously securing the bag is obviously should be a concern, but it shouldn't be the thing that drives you.
Yeah,
It shouldn't be
it shouldn't be the priority.
You know what I mean? Money is essentially what you need to do the things that you love, but it
You have
shouldn't
to have
be
a
the main
reason
goal.
why you're making
Exactly,
money.
it should not be the main
Person
goal.
or like a purpose. Right?
So live in your truth and be yourself and surround yourself with people that allow you to live in your truth.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So
I like that.
I think that the advice that I would give to any millennial, because I know like a lot of us are going into our 30s, and millennials do reach 38, and all the advice and everything that we say does range for those age ranges as well. It ranges for anyone, to be honest. I would say find the beauty within new school and old school, and what I mean by that is find the balance. There is beauty in what, like you said, your parents, your great grandparents,
That's so important.
all that
Yeah.
stuff. There's
like
beauty
seeing
in
what-
old school. So
Yeah.
I feel like the advice I want to truly from the bottom of my heart give to people is find the beauty between old school, figure out what new school is, whether that's changing like your roles in your relationship or whatever the case is. Find out how to have the perfect balance for yourself between new school and old school. And I truly feel like you will find tranquility, peace, and happiness in that. So that's something that I do feel like I want anyone else to be focused on going into this new new decade, because there is some things that we are accustomed to, and it would stabilize our lives a lot more personally. But thank you guys so much for being a part of our first episode. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
It was fun.
Yes.
That was cool.
As you guys can tell, we've been.
We got to do this again. Absolutely. Salud,
I've had a glass of
Cheers,
wine and a cup of
Cheers,
tequila.
everybody.
So
My
salud,
glass is
guys.
empty, but cheers.
Might as well.
Thank
Jordan,
you.
Jordan said cheers. You guys
Love
can't
y'all.
see him. You'll see him next time.
And Jordan's behind
Wait,
the scenes,
where's your cup,
man.
Jordan?
Salud.
Yeah, there you go.
Salud. Thank you, Janae.
All right, guys. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Thank you guys
It's been a
so
pleasure.
much. Tune into our next episode. Sincerely, Millennials.
Hey, hey.